Let's talk Thunderbolts thoughts. I've seen the movie now for a second time. I think it's out there right now. Thunderbolts is sort of the Asterix. They're the new Avengers. Um, on second viewing, I did not dislike it as much on the second viewing. I feel that the things that bothered me were kind of melted into the background. The things I like, I genuinely like all these characters, or at least three of them,
69.
maybe four, three of them. Um, a lot. Uh, so I don't know, Alan. Do you have any new thoughts on Avengers now that you've had time to ruminate on it?
Yeah, well, I'm kind of ruminating on all the criticisms I'm getting for this movie, and it's, I'll, I don't dismiss criticism so easily, and I'll think about it. And the biggest criticism is the fact that, I wanted. They're criticizing the fact that I wanted a movie that had superhero punches and fights at the end, but instead we got a therapy session, and and so I have to ask myself, am I wrong? Maybe this is the new form of superhero films where we talk our feelings through. Certainly that has happened in stories before. And I think I'll go back to the fact that this is how Captain America Brave New World ended. It ended with a calm down conversation, or the get off the ledge conversation, which means, you know, there's a level of which you want these movies to have, to be evergreen, to be able to appeal to people for a long time, and action tends to do that versus, this whole idea that America is suffering through mental health issues is very today, and it means it's not gonna it's gonna be dated 20 years from now. People are going to wonder why were Americans so mopey, or what was the deal with Americans? And again, I mentioned it before, but this is not exactly the way you deal with mental health, because you're not dealing with it. You're just acknowledging it and saying, "Hey, let's have a hug." I'm your friend. Oh, I'm your friend too. And that's kind of the solution of how you deal with depression. Um, and it's a lot more to it than that, and it just gives that simplistic answer, and so this is where the movie just becomes this giant virtue signal. We recognize America is going through a mental health crisis, and here is our part in that. I hear you, and here's a hug. And it confounds me that we are at this point where that is the movie ending people would want, rather than a traditional, hey, let's just fight this one out.
Well, I mean, the movie. This is. I'm sorry. There are going to be spoilers in this, for sure. I mean, our caption is a spoiler, effectively. But Yelena admits that this, and I feel like a certain percentage of the Marvel audience will be able to really relate to the fact that Yelena drinks too much, scrolls on her phone all day, has regrets about her life, and has no one to come home to. Who does that describe? And I hate to say this, a lot of young women today who are struggling also with their own mental health. It's talked about. Rates of mental health have gone up as soon as cell phones. This became a thing in 2012 when Apple iPhones became affordable, cheap. That's when rates of teen girl mental health went way up. The rates of depression went way up. You can look this up. Jonathan Haidt talks about this. As soon as Apple iPhones became affordable, that's when that happened. Young girls were perpetually online, and that did not help them. It contributes to a lot of mental health issues, from depression, anxiety, among others. I won't go into it so much, but the fact that she admits that, I do think, and that's why maybe I didn't respond to the film as much as others have. Thankfully, and I feel very lucky. I have my any bouts I've had with depression have been short lived. I'm fortunate. I've got a good life. I feel very lucky. I'm filled with gratitude that keeps me from going to a dark place, but that doesn't describe everyone. So I get that people are responding to this movie differently than
but
I am, but the movie ends with a group hug. It
Yeah.
is the solve to this film is a group hug with Bob.
yeah, but my issue,
Maybe is that better
Yeah.
than a dance off? Probably,
Yeah.
but it's not very, it's not dissimilar.
Yeah, but I mean, this is our episode on mental health. The thing is mental health today is being treated like a personality trait or a badge of honor. Oh, you have depression? I have depression. Oh yeah, I have depression too. As opposed to something that can be overcome. Well, why do you have depression? You know, what has brought you to this point? Rather and I look, I know people who have been there. Very close people who have had to battle through depression, and it's not easy. It's it hurts. There's a lot of stress and anguish that comes with facing your depression on head on. But it seems like the message today is everyone has depression. Just consider it your badge of honor, your superpower, and let's move on. And that's a dangerous thing when you don't deal with what causes that depression. You become basically an average American now, very weak and not able to be a fully formed functioning human being. So that's go ahead.
And I'll end on this before we go to comments. But look, I've had my struggles in the past. Not gonna lie, I was in therapy when my divorce became final. I learned a lot. I'll say this: there is no quick fix. A movie is not going to fix it. Some piece of advice and a quote on an Instagram post isn't going to fix it. A pill is not going to fix it. But I'll say regular exercise, a good diet, avoiding things like alcohol and sugar can help a lot. And I'll say this, I got to give credit to my mom. She gave me a book years ago that's out of print. Okay. It's called 30 Days to a Better Life. It does have a kind of a religious overtone to it, but the book is a very simple. Each chapter of the book is like 2-3 pages. It tells an anecdotal story that's very simple that might inspire you so you appreciate your own life. And it gives you a small task at the end of the book or at the end of the each chapter has like a worksheet, an activity, like make a list of 10 things you like about yourself. Things like that are very simple. Whenever I feel down, I start to read that book. I've never finished the book. By the middle of reading this book, so each day I read one chapter in the morning. I've never finished it because I feel so good. By the time I get halfway through, I'm like, this is great. The book is out of print. You cannot find it. Don't look on Amazon. 30 Days to a Better Life. However, I scanned the book and I made a PDF, and I've sent a copy of this book via PDF to any friend that is struggling. I've had people on the brink of ending their lives I sent this book to, and I'm happy to say it's helped a lot of people. If you are struggling, go to filmthreat.com, click on contact, mention 30 Days to a Better Life. I'll send you the book. I only want to send it to you because you can't find it. It's out of print, but it's work every day. Get up first thing in the morning, read a chapter, do the assignment. Sometimes the assignment takes 2 minutes. So that was easy. I kept a journal each time I've read this book. I've attempted to read this book several times, never finished. But I keep that journal. It shows you kind of where I was at that time in my life. And thankfully, I have not, in spite of the fact that I had a stroke a year ago, I just power through. So
Yeah.
I thankfully I spent very little time feeling sorry for myself. I was pissed. I was ready to fight. So changed my diet, my exercise regimen, and have made nearly a full recovery. I won't say
Mhm.
100%, but nearly. But if you are struggling, I'm happy to help. And but it's not a pill or a movie that's going to help you. It's habits change and doing a lot of self-reflection and work. So I'm happy to make that offer. That's a real thing. This movie
Yeah.
kind of superficially
Here, let me
deals with
let me tell
mental
you how
illness.
I've.
One
Okay.
last thing. One last
Okay.
thing. It's superficially, but if it does bring to light maybe people that are struggling, I just feel like what Yelena is struggling with is very specific to a certain generation of women today. And I'll just
Yeah.
leave it and to who I think will respond better to the film than I did. But I'm happy for the people that love it. Uh, me not so much, but that's all right. Alan, sorry.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I'll tell you how I got over my depression. It was basically I was planning on going into ministry, being doing youth work, and as a part of that, I went to seminary over at Biola at the Talbot School of Theology. I was going to get a Christian degree there, Christian education degree there, and as you can tell, I'm not in the ministry. I don't work for a church today, but I will say the 2.5 years I spent at Talbot was 2 years of therapy for me. Uh, Part of the compulsory aspect of my degree was I had to not only be in counseling but do counseling, and you just it was a very Christian, very religious edge to that as well. And it ultimately came down to one of my professors, Neil Anderson, and his book about our identity in Christ. You can look that up. But it was eye opening in the fact that two things. One is you are loved, God loves you, and the church is supposed to show you love in return. And the second is God. God takes you for where you're at. It doesn't matter how far down the hole you are, you can be forgiven. You can find freedom in that. And then and just like AA, all the support groups, it's just giving everything up to God and saying, look, I can't control my path. I can't control my future. God can, and God has a plan for you. You just have to go along with the ride and find out what the things that God throws in your ways to make you a better person and to make you reconsider the lies you tell about yourself. And a lot of the lies is just you getting down on yourself, criticizing yourself, lying to yourself, telling that you're not worthy or that people don't like you. That's the whole mind change that goes on there, and that's kind of where I got through it, taking it in that religious angle. But I think the point is that depression is not something you need to hold on and embrace. Depression is something you can work your way through and power your way through and become a whole, healthy, happy person in the end.
Well, what's funny is the only time I think people don't like me is when I read the comments on our videos or when I'm on Drinker's show and I read the chat. I can see people don't. And what's funny is the movie this is during the credits, they show what people are like, they show all the press they're getting. It's
Yeah.
not all good. It's like they show the comments that the negative comments about the new Avengers, they're not positive. And so the funny thing, it actually does deal with it. But Alan, I'll send you a copy of this book.
Yeah.
Not necessarily for you, but you might be able to pass it on. I have sent this book to so many people, friends, strangers, just anyone who I think might benefit. So I'm happy to do that. Go to filmthreat.com/contact, mention the book. I'll email it to you. And so there you go. I'm happy people are responding positively to this movie. It's not like the criticism of this movie are different than Captain America. And I think the word of mouth for this will be better. We'll see how it does at the box office. We'll see. But
Yep.